If you eat like a horse but stay skinny, if you train hard but your arms look the same 6 months later, this is for you. Every fitness expert blames your fast metabolism. Eat more, add 500 calories, drink weight gainer shakes. But here's what nobody tells you: your metabolism isn't the problem. Your body's muscle growth signal is broken, and eating more without fixing that signal just makes you store fat while your muscles ignore the extra food. Today, I'm showing you the three biological switches that control muscle growth in fast metabolism men, why yours are stuck in the off position, and how to flip them on so your body finally responds to training and food. Your body builds muscle through a process called muscle protein synthesis. Think of it like a construction site. You have workers, materials, and a foreman giving orders. For muscle growth to happen, all three need to be working at the same time. Most skinny guys focus only on the materials, eating more food. But if the foreman isn't giving orders and the workers are asleep, the materials just sit there unused. Here's the problem: your fast metabolism isn't burning the calories before they reach your muscles. Your muscles are ignoring the signal to grow in the first place. The three biological switches that turn on muscle protein synthesis, mechanical tension, metabolic stress, and muscle damage aren't being activated properly in your training. You're showing up to the gym, but you're not flipping the switches. Research from Schoenfeld shows that muscle hypertrophy requires all three mechanisms working together. Mechanical tension from progressive overload is the primary driver. Metabolic stress from volume and short rest creates the pump. Muscle damage from eccentric loading triggers repair and growth. Fast metabolism guys usually train with random weights, inconsistent progression, and too much rest between sets. They never create enough tension, stress, or damage to activate the growth signal. Let's say you're doing bicep curls, you grab the 25-pound dumbbells, do 3 sets of 10 reps, rest 3 minutes between sets, and call it a day. You feel like you worked hard. But did you actually flip the growth switches? Probably not. Mechanical tension requires progressive overload. That means every week you need to add weight, add reps, or add sets. If you're using the same 25-pound dumbbells for 3 months, you're not creating new tension. Your muscles adapted to that load in week 2. Metabolic stress requires volume and short rest. 3 sets with 3-minute rest doesn't create the pump or the metabolic byproduct accumulation that signals growth. Muscle damage requires eccentric loading and time under tension. If you're just lifting and dropping the weight with no control, you're missing the damage stimulus that triggers repair and growth. The research on dose response relationships shows that trained lifters need 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week to maximize hypertrophy. Most hard gainers do 6 sets total and wonder why nothing happens. You also need rest periods between 60 and 120 seconds to create metabolic stress without sacrificing load. And you need to control the eccentric phase, the lowering portion of the lift, for 2 to 3 seconds to create enough muscle damage. When you combine all three mechanisms in the same training week, you finally flip the switches that turn on muscle protein synthesis. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Once you flip the three growth switches with proper training, nutrition becomes the amplifier. But if the switches are off, eating more just makes you fat. Your body stores the extra calories because there's no growth signal telling it to build muscle instead. Most hard gainer advice says eat everything in sight. Drink milk, eat peanut butter by the jar, add 1000 calories. But if your training isn't creating mechanical tension, metabolic stress, and muscle damage, those calories have nowhere to go. Your body doesn't magically turn food into muscle just because you ate a lot. It needs the signal from training first. Then it uses the surplus to repair and build. The evidence from Morton and Gaff shows that protein intake around 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight supports muscle protein synthesis when training volume and intensity are adequate. A modest calorie surplus of 200 to 300 calories above maintenance provides the energy for growth without excessive fat gain. But the key phrase is when training volume and intensity are adequate. Fix the training signal first. Then the nutrition amplifies the results. not the other way around. There's a fourth switch that controls whether your body actually builds the muscle after training, recovery, specifically sleep. Muscle protein synthesis peaks during deep sleep. If you're training hard, eating enough, but sleeping 5 hours a night, you're flipping the growth switches on during the day and turning them off at night. Most hard gainers are students or young professionals working long hours, staying up late, sleeping inconsistently. They think they can out-eat bad sleep or out-train it. You can't. Growth hormone and testosterone, the two hormones that drive muscle growth, are released primarily during deep sleep. Cut your sleep short and you cut your growth potential in half, even if everything else is perfect. Research from Fulaga shows that sleep deprivation reduces muscle protein synthesis and increases muscle protein breakdown. You're literally undoing your training while you sleep poorly. The fix is simple but non negotiable: 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, consistent sleep and wake times, and a dark, quiet room. This isn't optional. It's the switch that allows everything else to work. So, your fast metabolism isn't the reason you're staying skinny. The real problem is a broken muscle growth signal. Fix your training by creating mechanical tension through progressive overload, metabolic stress through volume and short rest, and muscle damage through controlled eccentrics. Then amplify it with adequate protein and a modest surplus. Finally, turn on the recovery switch with consistent quality sleep. That's how you build muscle even with a fast metabolism. Now that you understand what controls muscle growth, the next question is how to structure your training week to maximize all three mechanisms without overtraining or burning out. In the next video, I'm breaking down the exact split, exercise selection, and progression model that creates the growth signal in just 3 to 4 sessions per week. Subscribe so you don't miss it.